40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Xfinity Superspeedway Series here on Green, White, Checkered TV. We have a great race in store for you here at Talladega Superspeedway, where we are going to determine who will be competing for a championship at the end of the regular season here, with one more race to lock yourself into the top 12 in points and be eligible to compete for that championship over the final 4 races of this season. You'll hear the voice of myself, Boomer Logan, and my good buddy Brandon Briggs here tonight. And looking forward to bringing some of this action to you fans alongside you, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here for this season finale. Got a lot of drivers packed in here tonight. I think I've seen over 23 drivers, including Ryan Decker. So another part-time driver that's going to come back full time next season, coming in here in a season finale to maybe help push one of his teammates into the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely love. I mean, there's so many people that have raced here over the years. Always love to see a familiar face come back after a bit of a hiatus. So, really happy to see the 48 car. It'll be a Toyota out there for tonight, and yeah, we getting obviously pretty close to the playoffs. So we'll bring in that points graphic for you here and show you where everybody is at. And there you see Gabe Butler still leading the charge there in the first place with 268 points. Cody Nagels is hot on his heels, though, just 4 points back. Dude Conrad is 30 points back. Maxwell Caldwell up there in the 4th position, very comfortable in the playoff standings. So is Eric Laurie and Jack Walls. Everett Lane there with 202. Joshua Highball at 194. And Joshua Highball, that's where it starts to get a little more uncomfortable, right? You got only about 9 points ahead of that cutoff there in 13th and 14th. And then we got Doug Webb, Dean Wilkinson, Justin Davis, and Charles Johnson all there within about a 6-point spread between 8th to 12th. So it's going to be an interesting battle. We do know that both Jack Walls and Charles Johnson are not going to be eligible, or they will remove their own eligibility to compete, as I don't believe they'll be able to make all of the races for the rest of the playoffs. So in fairness to the rest of the drivers, they are going to give those spots up. So as you see it now, Gary Huffines and Anthony Lane are actually in the playoffs if you count out Charles Johnson and Jack Walls. Charles Johnson obviously on the cutoff there just about anyway, so it's possible that he falls out naturally of the points, and he will not be racing tonight, so it's possible that he'll fall out naturally anyway, but obviously there will be an extra spot that Jack Walls will give up there. So Gary Huffines and Anthony Lane come into tonight 6 points actually to the good over Bob Fitzgerald, and should be a pretty exciting matchup here.
Yeah, and if I'm any of the drivers that's from 8th to 15th, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm coming into this race with the same mindset I had beforehand, thinking Jack and Charles are going to make it just because of the way the drop weeks work and how everything works out with the points. So I'm going to come out here and try to get as many points as I can early, maybe get a lap led and try to stay up front as we can see the cars taking to the grid now.
Yeah, see those cars starting to populate on the grid here. Cody Nagels is going to grab that pole position in that number 16. No stranger to the front row. Neither is Everett Lane there in the 24 for Team Bootnaka. So you got Nightmare Esports and Team Bootnaka side by side on that front starting grid. Robert Hooligan in the 126 machine is going to be inside of Doug Webb in the outside of row number 2. Dude Conrad's your last qualifier in the top 5. And then he's got Tom Dixon, who had a really great night on Friday night until a late blown engine destroyed his chance at what could have been, or what should have really been, a very solid top 3 finish. But nonetheless, another opportunity in another series for Tom Dixon, and hopefully a good night for him to recover from that. And then also we mentioned, Ryan Decker back after a little bit of a hiatus. Love to see some of our friends coming back to the series when they can. So Ryan Decker there for Roswell Motorsports inside of row number 4. And then we got Bob Fitzgerald in the 08 to his outside. Justin Davis there is in the number 10 car, but in the 9th position. And to his outside is going to be Eric Laurie for Team Bootnaka in the 071. We've got Maxwell Caldwell in the number 94 machine inside of row number 6. And Joshua Highbaugh of Silver Fox Racing to his outside. And then we've got Todd Merkel and Hayden Davis side by side on row number 7. Anthony Lane, currently the last driver in on points in the playoffs for tonight. looking to try and advance there, and Dale Rapp also of Silver Fox Racing is going to be to his outside there. We got Robert Amaral in that number 77 inside of Dean Wilkinson in that number 55, and that'll be your last qualifier on time. So Jack Walls and Gary Huffines, as well as Jim Brooks, Bud Steele, and Gabe Butler are all going to start at the back of the field, and looking forward to making a charge through the field and seeing how quickly they can get up to the front. So in just a second here, we'll be ready to roll off, and looking forward to seeing these race trucks take to the green flag tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting. I watched the move there by Bob Fitzgerald, put down a pretty good lap time. Gonna start right up there. I believe it was third or fourth row. So some about 10 or 11 points, I think it was. He was behind the guy in front of him. So trying to get up front, stay up front, and not be part of no messes. These guys are gonna roll here through turn 3 and 4, and a few of the guys that's already up here, like Cody Nagels. You've seen Gabe's mode. He's dropped to the back, but when you got a guy like Cody Nagels that races every race the same way, man, it's tough to get these points. So, well, what are you doing here, Boom, to start this race? You're gonna just gonna cruise and see how the fuel mileage is gonna work and see how the temperatures are gonna be, or are you gonna try to be aggressive and try to get to the front and say, hey, I'm not gonna be in any mess?
You know, I've always kind of tried to employ the Dale Jr. mindset of be up front, and good things will happen. To make every move you can, take every opportunity that you can to try and be up in the front, because obviously typically that's where less of the chaos happens. So that would be my strategy for tonight, and I'm sure both of these guys on the front row are going to employ that strategy as we are green flag in the air, ready to go. 75 laps here at Talladega Superspeedway.
Good start here by everybody. Everybody getting a nice good gap, letting everybody get up to speed. No real starts or runovers on the start of the race here, which is good. As these cars are going to really get up to speed and get up to temps, and that's one thing we got to keep our eye on tonight. iRacing puts out an update every now and then, and over about the last week or so, boom, we've really start to see temperatures not only in Sunday night but Friday nights also start to play a factor. So something these drivers are going to have to get their eyes on quickly and see really how hard they can push their cars.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a difference. You know, we talked about it a little bit. Sounds like for the trucks, especially on Friday night, there was a little bit of a difference in what they saw for the overheating. We actually had some oil temperature issues, it sounded like, for a couple drivers, which is fairly rare. Usually it's going to be something more like a water temperature, or obviously we would be equivalent to like a coolant temperature, but it is definitely been a little different with the last couple updates, and we did have a very large update this past week. A lot of stuff, really more on the user interface side, has changed with iRacing. Not so much that we've seen from the car aspect, but there's still quite a bit of stuff that could be changed, and these drivers are going to have to fill it out pretty early on and try to figure out what's new, what's different, and how the cars are going to respond to all that.
Yeah, not only that, but they look fun to drive here to begin off the beginning of this race. As we could really see the 16, he could really just get up there and move, control, and it didn't really upset the 24 too much. Now, it could have been a little bit of the timing and the experience of the 16, but it does look like these guys are going to be able to put these cars where they need to be. As we can see the 55, he's already made his way to the third lane, trying to gain some spots up there. Going to need a little bit more help, though, as he goes down the backstretch.
Yeah, we've seen that. Dean Wilkinson's actually getting a pretty good side draft off of that middle lane. You know, we saw that on Friday night too, where two trucks actually had the opportunity to go pretty far in that outside lane by themselves. And usually you see that a little bit more when there was fuel saving, but at the time, really, there was no need for it. So it was just a really good run, but they seem to stall out once they get to maybe the third or fourth truck in the field. So, first or second truck in that inside and middle lanes. But obviously not a great connection between the 101 and the 55 at the moment, so they're fading back just a little bit. So I think that this 3-wide action will be short-lived, as we'll expect Dean Wilkinson probably tuck back in behind Bud Steele here, but still moving up 3 spots. Actually, Bud Steele right now is up 10 at the moment. Dean Wilkinson's up 4, and nobody else is up more than 2, and a lot of drivers up 1. So Bud Steele is making a charge to the front here, up 13 spots from his original starting position. And he says, I want to go to the front. I want to take this Navy Ford Mustang all the way there. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. Get up there. Bud missed a couple weeks, so I'm pretty sure he's excited to get back in the seat right there, as he's going to have his first really grip on the wheel with his hopefully 4D racewear gloves. Has had a little bit of a hiccup right there going through the trial, able to get through it, not going to be able to get down, but it's nice to see some guys early trying to get up there and make a little bit of moves and make something happen compared to just running double file. I love when it gets exciting. Boom.
Yeah, absolutely. And, kind of contrary to that, obviously there's been quite a bit of movement towards the middle and back parts of the pack, but as of right now the top 11 are in this position that they started in, and pretty much the first 4 or 5 rows are exactly where they were, and now the 16 is going to jump to the high side, but so far not a lot of movement here until Cody Nagels got in front of the 24. This is the first lap. Ooh, Bud's still a little high there, but no harm, no foul. This is the first lap that any position has really changed in the inside or outside lanes for the first 5 rows. So not a lot of movement early on here other than Bud still trying to make that charge.
Yeah, and some of these guys, up here I think are not going to try to make just something happen just because it's early in the race, or let's see what we can do. They understand what type of race this is, and some people, they like to play it a little bit more conservative, and in their mind they don't want to burn up a fast repair if they don't have to, or track position trying to gain 1 position if they don't have to. They're comfortable with this mode right here, and if anything's really benefiting from it the most, it's Everett Lane and then the 126. These guys are really understanding temperatures, and we can see the 126 the most. Just seeing how many laps he can really go before the temperatures get too high. And, we've heard some drivers say it doesn't even have to be blinking red for it to overheat. So really giving some knowledge in this last chance to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely one of those things that, obviously there's lots of adjustments and changes to iRacing over the years, and it's definitely been surprising, I think, for a lot to see the temperatures jump up as fast as they do. As far as I understand, it's not nearly as bad in the Xfinity cars, but it is definitely something to worry about no matter what, but especially in the trucks on our Friday night series. So something to keep an eye on. But yeah, we're back to status quo. I believe the first 4 cars, yeah, we're back to top 11 are all in their starting positions, and yeah, so pretty quiet start to this race. Again, Bud Steele's up 7 spots at the moment, but it's been pretty status quo, pretty quiet. We're probably getting just under halfway through this first green flag cycle before these drivers would need to pit, and from what we've seen so far, it seems like it's going to be fairly quiet, at least potentially until we get into that green flag pit cycle. We really only see Bud Steele trying to do what he can on the high side by himself, but pretty much everybody else is just kind of riding around at this point.
Yeah, just pretty much on cruise control. And if you're a guy in the middle like Ryan Decker, there's nothing really you can do. It's not like you can just say, hey, excuse me, I'm coming up here to the middle lane and then to the outside. So some of these guys really just relaxing and just hanging out here for the most part. And I think it's for some of these guys that raced on Friday night understood how much that first pit stop can really change up the whole race in general. And maybe that's some of these guys' thought is, hey, let's at least get to this first pit stop. Let's see how many laps we can get out of this tank with just cruising around, not really pushing it too much. So we can pick a long-term strategy.
Yeah, indeed. There's definitely a lot of time left and a lot of strategy to be played out. We'll see probably in the next 10 laps drivers trying to get down to that inside lane and make that first green flag pit stop, hopefully here. But yeah, working on lap number 10 already. And yeah, not like I said, pretty quiet. Not too much to report. Bud Steele's still your highest climber at +6, and nobody else is more than +1. Hayden Davis is now +2 as it changes, but like we said, pretty status quo so far. But it should be a pretty decent battle towards the end for those playoffs. Obviously, there's a couple drivers kind of close on that cutoff line. Now, I mean, I'm curious to know. Obviously, you've raced in this series more than I have, and probably more recent than I have too, Brandon. But if you put yourself in both of those shoes, maybe what are you trying to do as a driver? So say you're 12th on the cutoff line, and you got a 5 or 6 point buffer. What's your mindset there versus if you were like, hey, I'm 6 to 12 points behind the cutoff, I'm not locked in. What kind of mindset do you think changes for some of these drivers in both of those positions?
I think it really comes back to, so many of these guys on this, they operate out of a team, a team mindset. We hear every time they come into the interviews after the race, the team, what we were trying to execute as a team. So if you're one of those guys that's got a team, I think it's what can we do to, whoever's closest to get on the bubble, what can we do to get that person in? But if, you're a little bit of a maybe two-guy team, kind of like the Davis family, them guys, hey, I'm up there. I'm pushing it to the limit. I'm up there. I'm trying to get as many points as I can. I want to be up here pitting with the leaders. I want to be around everything that's happening at the lead because if I'm up here around these guys and like we see, Cody Nagels, it works for him. Everett Lane, these guys, they get up there and for the most part they stick up there. And so I'm up there trying to follow everything they can do so I can get as many points as I can. And then when that wreck does come, hopefully I'm not around it so I can be more aggressive later on in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've stressed it so much. Maybe not as much recently, but I know in the past we've stressed teamwork so much. And, there's a couple bigger teams. Obviously, Team Bootnaka's been around for quite a while. They have a lot of experience. Maxwell Caldwell and Todd Merkel running for 1320 Enterprises together, a little bit of a smaller team. And then obviously Roswell Motorsports has, I believe, 5 entries in the field for tonight. And Bud Steele, Gary Huffines, Jack Wells, Jim Brooks, Ryan Decker. Silver Fox is a pretty solid crew between Robert Amaral, Joshua Highball, Dale Rapp, and Anthony Lane. Group of 4 there. TW Motorsports has Bob Fitzgerald, Dean Wilkinson, Cody Nagels, and Tom Dixon. And then, as you mentioned, Team Davis is going to be the cousins Hayden and Justin. And then, pretty solid. Yeah, 1320. I think, I mentioned already Maxwell Caldwell and Todd Merkel. And there's also others that are running kind of more as independents as well. But for the most part, that teamwork, I know it's cliche, but that teamwork really does make the dream work, and it makes a big difference to have people that you can trust and race hard around, and have someone that's going to pit with you, and especially with super speedway racing, we saw Friday night. It was a very quiet race, and there were 2 or 3 drivers that executed perfectly all night long, and they were the only 2 that were even within like 15 seconds of being in contention, just because they didn't make mistakes. So. That's something that helps when you have 2 teammates or more working around with you and practicing with you together.
Yeah, and on speaking of Friday's race, with the team, I think that was the first time, and we didn't check, and that's probably bad journalist on our part, but the 071, from everything that we've seen on Friday, was that he ran out of gas coming down pit road, so those guys try to push it an extra lap. It's going to be interesting to see how many teams are saying, hey, man, this guy ran out. And, they were riding like they were now. They weren't up leading or anything. So how many of these teams, put that into the situation that, hey, we could run out, or somebody could run out going that one extra lap. So that's where I like kind of where Justin and Hayden Davis is. To me, at these type of races, I think Tony Stewart put it best. The less commitment you got to some person or team is when you can drive the best, because you don't have to really worry. You're just out there worried about racing, and those 2, I think, is where you can really make some moves. Now, they've worked with teams before, like Team Bootnaka, and been successful, so it's nice to have allies, but not having that commitment, to me, was always the best. I can go wherever and whenever.
Yeah, that was, Tony Stewart and Dale Jr. in the early 2000s were, I mean, some of the best at it at super speedways, right? I mean, for how many races that Tony won, to never get a Daytona 500 at Daytona is almost criminal. But I mean, just that mindset of I'm just gonna go wherever I want to go, whenever I need to go, and they made it work for him. Obviously, a little bit different style of pack racing than it was back then. Not too incredibly dissimilar, but there's guys out there that that when you get linked up with, they're going to be really good at pushing or receiving a push, and that you can kind of rely on them. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, even if you aren't in a team, we've seen a lot of independents come in and do well, and obviously the big teams really do have a lot of great execution and teamwork. But I don't know, it's really cool to see the dynamic of all the different situations that some of the drivers find themselves in that do partake in this league.
Yeah, and some things that you need to happen here at these tracks, and especially here, with pitting, it's so crucial. You mess up a pit stop, especially on iRacing, you're gonna suffer badly from it. You're not gonna catch back up, and it could end your whole race. So when it comes to that aspect of the race, and like Friday, it stayed green for the most part. You need them teammates so you can have that communication and not have that hiccup as these cars are starting to get a little swirly, as we're starting to see a little bit of jockey as Everett Lane takes the lead now. But I think that's where it comes in, that you need teammates the most, is when you come down pit road. You really, really have to come down with at least 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah, so still remaining pretty status quo here, but you do see drivers trying to tuck down and get ready for those green flag pit stops. Everett Lane takes over the point ahead of Cody Nagels. They've swapped first and second. Third, fourth, and fifth are as they were when they qualified. Ryan Decker and Tom Dixon are flipped from their starting positions. Eric Laurie is up 2. Now Bob Fitzgerald passes him back. Eric's up 1, and Hayden Davis is up 4. Bud Steele up 4 further on back, and you see that single file train starting to develop, and pit stops are coming.
Yeah, and Eric Laurie, he's dropping. He is on that outside lane and cannot get in, and that's going to hurt. Hopefully he can tuck in. It looks like he's dropped all the way back to 11, but he's lost Dude Conrad and these guys, as you can see right now. He's finally going to get picked up on outside. Looks like the 52 of, I believe that is Doug Rapp. I could be wrong.
Dale Rapp, yep.
Yeah, Dale Rapp going to pick him up. But them guys, Gael, a couple, I think it was last season, we really emphasized on what it's like to go up there and on that outside lane, the time difference. If these guys can manage to get back up here and gain the time, as you look to Gabe Butler right now, that's 2 seconds. And when you're coming down pit road in 2 seconds back, that can cause you the lead pack exiting pit road. It doesn't seem like it's much now because they're right here, but once you cycle through pit road, that 2 seconds, you could be all by yourself. So the 071, if these guys are going to do it, they're going to have to get up here and get down.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely got to get down at some point. It does help that they've got each other to help a little bit. They've got a little bit of, some draft whatsoever. Obviously, they're not making a ton of room, but you see that 8 of Dude Conrad's, he's actually kind of making a hole there, and I wouldn't be surprised if the 071's going to slip down right there in front of his teammate. Stacks up the field a little bit, but Dale Rapp is also going to get an opportunity to jump down to the bottom here, and some good sportsmanship by the 8 to let a teammate in and also give a chance to let Dale Rapp in. And the high side is going to have Bud Steele, the 55 of Dean Wilkinson, and it looks like actually Gabe Butler making a charge to the front of the field as we are working on lap number 20 and imminent pit stops just around the corner.
Yeah, Gabe Butler heard about the time loss, and he jumps right up there. He went from 2 seconds behind the leader. Now he's up to 0.3 of a leader. He's going to come up here and maybe take Bud Steele and Dean Wilkinson all the way to the front. So what a flip-flop, as you can really see the inside lane start to filter out as they're going to create a big gap right here. And these 3 on the outside said, hey, we're just going to get up here and we'll be the first 3 to come in.
Yeah, that's fairly impressive run from the back of the field. Obviously, three very experienced drivers in Bud Still, Dean Wilkinson, and especially Gabe Butler. Probably one of the most prolific champions and winners in this series, and one of the most humble dudes as well, Gabe Butler there. But I mean, Dean's accolades are fairly impressive himself. Bud Steele has been around for so long. Those guys just had such a great charge, and now they are in control of this race as they get ready. And yeah, a little surprised we haven't seen anybody come down pit road yet. See if it's going to come in the next few laps or so. It's always a reminder that we should check what fuel is going to be before the race starts. But working on lap number 21, now 22 as they cross the stripe there. Bud Steele at the point, Dean Wilkinson being pushed by the 88 of Gabe Butler and Dude Conrad in the 8. Everett Lane follows the 6, and so does Cody Nagels. And that is about your top 5, top 6 at the moment for Robert Hooligan in there in 6th place. And those are some of your front runners.
Yeah, how about Bud Steele? He took a couple weeks off. He was watching in on the broadcast, and he says, "All right, fellas, I'm back. All right, let me show you how to get up here and lead this field around Talladega." Bud's been doing it for a long time, and hey, I'm telling you what, it feels good to see the 6 up there lead. He's gonna bring these guys both around, and no one taking advantage of all them guys. He's seen them lined up on the bottom. Said, "Hey, we know these guys are just gonna sit here and just cruise around. Let's take advantage of it and go all the way to the front." Now I can only think of how Everett Lane is gonna want to. That's a couple of his teammates up there on the outside. I don't think Cody Nagels is just gonna let off and let both of those teammates in. What do you think, Boom?
Probably not. I mean, obviously the 48 has a spot to come down now if he wanted it, but he's going to stay on that high side there. Nope, he is going to come down. But yeah, the 55, 88, and the 8 are pretty committed to being in that high lane at the moment here. And something interesting to note, we haven't even touched on it yet, but the lap to lead for the extra bonus money, I should say, is going to be lap number 26. So whoever is leading at the end of lap 26 is going to take some cold, hard cash home tonight. And there we see some of our first pit stops, the 6, the 24, the 16, the 88 locks him up and makes contact with the inside wall. That's not the 88, sorry. That's the 126 of Robert Hooligan. He makes contact with the side of the 16, and then further on back, it looks like Doug Webb has spun around entering pits.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if he gets a penalty because it's before the cone, so I don't think he's going to get a penalty. He's going to lose the pack, but I'm almost for sure that he should not get a penalty just because it was before the cone. All these guys going to have to hustle up here to 126. He struggled there a little bit, hit the wall. But what's interesting to see is once again, for about the 3rd race in a row, the 24 pits with the leaders and not his teammates. So interesting strategy as these guys maybe, as he is going to lead them out of this. But you're going to see now here the second group, they're going to peel off this time and going to be a way, way bigger pack this time, Boom.
Yeah, a few more cars coming down, and it looks like they're getting down okay. Couple lockups for a couple drivers, but everyone able to not make contact this time. Some smoke, so we'll check for penalties. If anybody's in their box for more than 40 seconds, or, well, really more than 15 seconds, you'll know right away that they have served a
83
penalty.
83 goes around.
Oh, wow, getting into his pit stall.
Yeah, they didn't go ghost, and the 83 and the 19 is going to make some contact there.
So interesting enough, so we'll have, looks like Ryan Decker's actually going to come off of pit road first here. So out on the speedway still is the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell and his teammate Todd Merkel. So they're going to go 25 laps here. They may have an opportunity to pit one less time than everybody else or not have to save nearly as much fuel. So that's a huge advantage that I think the 94 and the 2 are going to have here as long as they can get down pit road safely. Ryan Decker is going to lead that second group off, and you see Everett Lane coming back up to the front there. He's only got Bud Steele and Cody Nagels with him, then a little bit of a gap back to more drivers, and we see most of this lead pack is going to probably split up just a little bit here. We'll see who can hang on to it. So far, Everett Lane, Bud Steele, Cody Nagels, Robert Hooligan, Ryan Decker, Dude Conrad, Joshua Highbaugh and Justin Davis. And okay, so we do see obviously Jack Wells spent a lot of time in his pit stall after spinning around, maybe taking some damage, but Gabe Butler, Dean Wilkinson, and Hayden Davis all served penalties under that green flag pit cycle, so you see them about 50 seconds off of the pace, and yeah, that's from those penalties that they served probably too fast entering pit lane.
Yeah, it was. I seen both of them lock up their tires after the cone, and that was the first sign to me that, oh. And they talked about it. iRacing had a massive update. I'm telling you, a guy else told me a couple, that hey, this iRacing update. Make sure you get on your PC early. He wasn't lying. It took forever. But what they were talking about is the UI in the car that when you come down pit road, if you've never been on iRacing before, it gives you a little box right in the middle of your screen, and it tells you, and it's not very big to begin with, but they said it's really smaller now, and that speed limit, it's really hard to see, and that could be, once again, they talked about it on Friday, and there's no way it got fixed that quick, so maybe that was part of the problem with them guys getting in there, because we've seen the 55 and the 88, they've really executed in pit road, so just another struggle that these drivers are faced with here.
Yeah, definitely some unique challenges to the Super Speedway style of racing. We are past the 1/3 mark here, and the 24 of Everett Lane and the 16 of Cody Nagels continue to battle it out side by side. And we've got a pack of about 10 cars here of our leaders. And then you got to go about 5 seconds back. You're going to find Eric Laurie leading the charge with Tom Dixon, Bob Fitzgerald, Dale Rapp, Anthony Lane in tow. Throw Robert Amaral, Gary Huffines, and Jim Brooks in there as well. And then Doug Webb, without a dancing partner at the moment, about 24 seconds behind the leaders, and you can see nobody behind him for quite a while. You got to go back to Jack Walls, who had some issues with the spin on pit road. He is pretty lonely as well, and then Dean Wilkinson, Hayden Davis has caught the lead pack as the first car one lap down, and then Gabe Butler actually coming back down pit road potentially again, or just on the apron, not entirely sure. But Gabe Butler is well off the pace. Actually, that last lap running a 1:08.83 to the fastest lap on track, which was a 50.88. So some issues for Gabe Butler here that we're going to have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I wonder if the strategy, I don't know how far the pack is behind him, but maybe sometimes it's better, hey, just get with the pack and lead the front of it. So I don't know where the 19 is on track. A lot of stuff happened here. But I tell you what, one of the guys that benefit from it is Justin Davis. We talked about it. He's right there on the bubble in the points. After all that chaos happened and everything, he finds himself running third now. As we see a big move by Everett Lane, and I think him and Cody Nagels both were going to probably take the inside lane there and just had a little bump. But a good run for him as he's trying to race his way into the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely a good run. Obviously, Cody and Everett very well secure in the playoff standings here. They're going for broke and racing really hard, really well at the front of this pack here tonight. A really strong showing there for Justin Davis. He is up in the third spot at the moment, second car in the outside line. Bud Steele having a really great night. He's actually up 19 spots from his starting position, and nobody else. Joshua Highbaugh is up 6, but nobody else anywhere close to the 19 plus 19 plus 20 that the 6 of Bud Steele is flirting with there from third to second place as he leads at inside line. And he's actually going to duck down here. We'll see if you're going to let him back up on the racetrack. He had a little bit of an issue there in the 126. Yeah, he's kind of bouncing off the apron a little bit, able to get back at. Oh, and the leader spin. The 24 goes around. That's going to be the first yellow of the night, and lots of carnage from that incident.
Yeah, that's what those guys like Gabe Butler and what them fellas back there is. They're still spinning out back here. That is definitely what those guys wanted to see, to restack this field back up. But not what these guys up front wanted to see. They had a nice little pack, and they had definitely put some distance on everybody else. And we'll tune back and see exactly what happened here.
Oh, man, yeah, it looks like Cody Nagels just kind of comes down on the 24, throws a little bit of a block. They hook bumpers, unfortunately, and that is going to send the 24 around. The 16 goes around, and big hit there for a couple cars. The 52 getting into the back of the 126. The 48 looks like he got through fairly unscathed. The 6 goes to the apron. Wow, wreck avoidance for the 8 as well. The 19 down there low, a really good opportunity for them. We'll grab another TV camera view here and see if we can bring it back up and try to understand this a little bit better. But yeah, you just see the move there Everett Lane kind of trying to cover the bottom, and the 16 and 24 going for the same racing space and hook bumpers there. And yeah, that's going to be an early fast repair probably for a few cars. Big hit for the 126. That 52, or sorry, the 101 of Joshua Highball was the one involved there. We actually saw Robert Hooligan jump to pits, which typically means a blown motor. So that is going to take him a couple minutes to get back to pit road before he can repair that. And we'll see if he can stay on the lead lap with that and get that fast repair and be ready to go.
Yeah, tough break for everybody there involved, and I don't know where Vicente Guerrero is, but I'm pretty sure he got maybe a little grin. There's been a little bit of rival there between them two teams, and I like to stir it up a little bit. I love me a good rivalry, and we've seen those two teams get together again, and that's gonna make for some hard racing. But we talked about it. Justin Davis, he was able to miss that. He's gonna come in here and get fuel. And now as these guys come down, boom, hearing this, are you gonna take 4 tires? Are you gonna take 2? Or I mean, what are you gonna take here? Fuel? How you going?
Honestly, I mean, I would probably. This is one of the best times to take tires if you want to take them. It's not going to make nearly as much of a difference here at Talladega as it would probably at Daytona and especially maybe Atlanta. Yeah, I think most of these guys, it looks like they're going to probably just be taking fuel. A couple cars are getting tires. Yeah, seeing a lot of 6-second, 9-second pit stops. 6 seconds suggests fuel only. About 9 seconds suggests right side tires. You have to go back to Justin Davis and Ryan Decker for the first drivers who took 4 tires. Bob Fitzgerald looks like he took 2. Maxwell took 4. Jack Wall's fuel only. Eric Laurie takes 4. Gary Huffines right sides. And then 4 tires for pretty much everybody else or a little bit of damage repair. So that is going to put, I think, Hayden Davis and Gabe Butler back on the lead lap. Robert Hooligan is going to be the only one that will be, I think, 1 lap down at the moment. His car is not currently being scored, so he has jumped 2 pits, and we'll see if he gets a chance to enter pit lane or not. And get that fast repair taken care of, but if not, could be an early retirement for Robert Hooligan.
Yeah, big benefit to that was the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. He's right there on the bubble. It's a long shot for him to get in, but with the 2 drivers dropping and how this race is going, he had actually lost the pack and was about 12, 13 seconds off. Now he's going to find himself in 8th. So good caution there for the 08 and keeps a fighting chance alive for him. Is a lot of these drivers. The race is super tight. Boom.
Absolutely, yeah. Coming into tonight, Bob Fitzgerald was 14 points behind Anthony Lane and Gary Huffines. They were outside looking in until Charles Johnson and Jack Walls are giving up their eligibility for the playoffs. That's going to put Gary and Anthony in, but that 14 points for Bob Fitzgerald is definitely a hill to climb, but it's not impossible, and as of right now, he's in a decent spot to do that. He's going to need some help. Obviously, Anthony Lane is in the 12th position, actually 10th now as they re-rack and stack. A couple drivers getting a little extra fuel here, it looks like. Yeah, so the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald is 4 spots ahead of Anthony Lane at the moment, and he is a few more spots ahead of Gary Huffines, who came back down pit road to get some extra fuel. So Cody Nagels will be the control car on this restart. The 6 of Bud Steele will be to his outside. Then you got Dale Rapp and the 10 of Justin Davis side by side for the restart here.
Yeah, and you know what? After all that commotion happened, boom. I could be wrong, and I don't want to speak too soon. But we'll do some searching when we go to a commercial break here. But I believe Everett Lane was leading lap 26. We'll have to sneak back there. But when all that chaos was happening, I believe that was lap 26, and I believe Everett had led, and that caution was on lap 27. But we'll send it to a commercial break and look into it.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Get that quick word in from 40 Racewear just before the green flag flies once again. Cody Nagels, the control car, as he was on the initial start and will be on this first restart of the night, working on lap number 34 and looking forward to more green flag action here at Talladega Superspeedway.
Yeah, these cars get back up to speed, and after that, as that caution happened, one strategy that we're not now going to get to see is the Maxwell Caldwell strategy. Remember, those guys pushed it and all the way 25 laps, so it would have been interesting to see if it stayed green how their strategy would have worked. Not going to see now, but Maxwell is going to find himself in a 9th spot as these guys get back up to speed, and Cody Nagels is going to lead Bud Steele out of turn 4.
2 by 2 they stay. Not a lot of movement after the restart so far, but the running order has definitely jumped up a little bit more than before. Cody Nagels is still in his spot, but Bud Steele is up 20, Dale Rapp up 13, Justin Davis up 5, Ryan up 2, Bob Fitzgerald up 2, Maxwell Caldwell up 4, and Jack Walls up 11 at the front of this field.
Yeah, we do have one retiree. It looks like the 126. I believe he has called it a night. I could be wrong, but I do believe it said he was out. So tough break there for the 126s. That's one extra spot that these guys are going to get a position for, which is going to crunch down on that points. I'm going to keep bouncing back to it a lot. That's all that matters tonight is making them playoffs. This is what you raced all season for, as we can see some guys in the back already starting to get 3 wide.
Yeah, the 411 and the 55 looks like they're trying to work on that high side there at the front, though. The 16 still being pushed by the 52 of Rapp. The 10 now leads the middle lane, and the 83 jumps to the bottom there and jumps below the apron but gets back up no problem. And the 714 and the 24 now making some pretty good headway in that third lane.
Yeah, Everett Lane, we know him. He's going to had a tough break there, but he's going to find his way back to the front and be competitive, and now he's just, I believe that's a teammate running with them, the 714. I could be wrong, but I believe is that Doug Webb, correct?
Yep, yeah.
As Gabe Butler's gonna add on to the back of that pack there is, now it's really, business is starting to pick up. These guys have already used a fast repair. I think they said, hey, let's get up here and get racy and see where the chips fall. So not too many worried about that, as we can see the inside line a little bit bouncy there, hitting the apron, but we're going to go 4 wide here, Boom.
Oh, man, yeah. I'm surprised that the 24, he's gonna jump around his teammate and go 3 wide now, but 4 for a second, and the 714's gonna jump to the middle lane. Man, I'm a little surprised that they made that move, but the 714 gets back up, and a little sideways action there, maybe some contact with the wall for the 88, but the 714 and 24 are reconnected in that outside lane as the bottom lane surges ahead. The 16 getting a really good push from Dale Rapp heading into the corner there. Dale Rapp's up 14 spots. Jack Walls is up 15. Jim Brooks is up 15 there. 5th car in the inside line, so a good night for some of these drivers.
It's a heck of a run up that many spots, and if that's trending, then you're in the right way. And man, I tell you, we speak to Team Bootnaka, within the interviews with them finishing the top 3 over the last couple races, and man, they say the chemistry's right over there, and that team has looked different all season, and we touched on it, with the pit road, Everett not pitting with them, and them coming at different times, and now we see it up there, and maybe it's the temperature of the cars, but that team boom to me just doesn't feel locked in. And I know this race right here, they got most of them guys in the playoffs and some things. Maybe they're trying to just maybe help a teammate. And that's the way they're running. But the team, like Vicente and Cody, those guys, they've just executed and just waiting to see Team Bootnaka turn that around. And if they can get that turned around in the playoffs, I'll tell you what, we're gonna have 4 really, really good races.
Yeah, absolutely. And they do have a pretty solid crew that are pretty well locked in the points. Obviously, Gabe Butler, Dude Conrad in the top 3 in points. Eric Laurie in the top 5. Everett Lane comes in tonight in 7th, and he is over 20 points ahead of, actually make that 17 points ahead of the cutoff. So with the shorter field of 23, really all Everett needs to do is be in a good spot at the end of it. So. And then Doug Webb has 194 points there in 9th place, comes into the night with 9 points over the cutoff there. So in a pretty good spot for, I mean, a lot of the Team Bootnaka drivers that are in the field for tonight.
Yeah, and that's got to be the plan right there. The 714 being on the bubble, their goal was to get him up there. Now he's leading this field around and making some good headway here. Going to probably get a bonus point, I would assume, for leading that lap right there. So that's going to help. And that battle, I know Jack Walls and they're going to gain the 2 spots, but anything can happen. Super speedway racing, and you can maybe be up 12, 13 points coming into it, and after a wreck or so, you don't have a fast repair, and then you could be the second car out of the race, and that's a lot of points. So these guys getting their guy up there, and we're a little over halfway now.
Yeah, that bonus point. So those bonus points are so critical. Obviously, they took them away after a couple seasons ago. We had a wild finish to the points where Rick Sanchez lost 10 points to Gabe Butler in the final race. Only finished like a spot or 2 behind him, but Gabe had won the bonus points for the pole position for leading a lap. Rick also had a lead lap, but then, we got a caution here. Car up and over. Up against the wall, that's Gabe Butler, and that is a big amount of contact for some of these cars.
Gary Huffine's in that mix too. He's sitting right there on the bubble. He was going to be included in there. A lot of these guys going to need fast repairs to get these cars back going. As you can see right here, we're going to bounce back to it, and we can see the 071 already a little sideways here in the corner. We'll scroll a little bit further back.
Yeah, so they enter the corner here, and you can kind of see the 071's already squirrely at this point, so we'll grab a different camera angle and see if we can understand a little bit better about what happened. See if we can grab one where they're facing it. Yeah, this one should be. So we'll check TV3 here, and we'll go back to it. Man, that's a wild ride for the 88.
I thought he had his beer goggles on driving there. Oh, as you can see, maybe just a little bit of a push in the corner, up there in that, I believe, what were they there in that 3rd lane? You got to really be hauling to get around and keep the momentum and maybe just here just a push or just a nudge at the wrong time.
Yeah, you see coming into the corner here. We'll switch back to TV3 and you can kind of see it. But, yeah. Oh, actually, the 08 gets a little... Oh, man, that's some net code there. You could see the space between the 08 and the 071 as that happened. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure there was some net code there that kind of actually kicked that off. And, man, what a ride. So the 08 drifts up just a little bit and, yeah, makes that net code contact with the 071. But that's going to be some big damage for the 08. The 81 has some very big damage. The 411, I think, here comes up, hits the outside wall. Not too terribly hitting that broadside. It's not terrible. But obviously you see the smoke rolling out of Gabe Butler's machine and Gary Huffine's, as you mentioned already, Brandon. Some serious engine damage for both of those guys.
Oh wait, Bob Fitzgerald. We was just talking about him. Dang, that's tough for a lot of these guys sitting right here on the bubble. They're gonna have to come down here and hopefully still have a fast repair. We have had a couple wrecks here tonight, so this is gonna put these fellas right here, right on the bubble. Oh, I thought Everett Lane was gonna stay out there for a
yeah.
second.
Make a fake or something, yeah. Yes, we will get through the pit stops and then we will go to another commercial break. But obviously, before we do, we'll see where these drivers net out and who's going to take 4 tires, who's going to take 2, who's going to take fuel only in a decent window here. But I think everybody still has to pit twice from the end. So obviously, expecting everybody to take a little bit of tires here as they come down pit road.
Yeah, if I'm one of those guys back there on the bubble, I would have drove through pit road right there. I would have came through, and I don't think believe everybody came down pit road would have got that bonus point. Some strategy, not maybe on the final one here, but we'll kick it to commercial.
Lights are finally off on the pace car. We will be going green next time by. Everett Lane will be the control car for this restart. Cody Nagels will be to his outside. That is a flip-flop of your starting positions for that front row. Dale Rapp is up 13 spots there in third. Doug Webb is where he's qualified in fourth. Bud Steele, who's been consistently one of our highest climbers all night, up 17. Jack Walls up 13. Ryan Decker currently scored in 7th place, where he qualified for tonight. Justin Davis is up a couple. Jim Brooks is up 12. And Tom Dixon is -4, but still strong in the top 10 there. And yeah, we've got, looks like Gabe Butler is still stuck in his pit stall. Repairing damage, so I think that could be an issue for him if he didn't get that fast repair checked in time before he towed. And if you don't check the fast repair, iRacing will immediately start to repair the damage, and unfortunately for a blown motor like we saw because of that puff of smoke, that's at least 30 minutes before you can rejoin the race. So hopefully that's not the case, but with Gabe Butler spending 5 minutes on pit road, actually he is rolling off now, so he is going to have a lot of catch up to do, but hopefully should be able to hang on to the field here as they're going to roll through the tri-oval and should be able to pick him up as I think 2 laps down. It'll be 3 by the time they pass him, but green flag is back out on the speedway. The 24 is your control car, and here we go. Lap number 45 starts now.
Yeah, good start there by the 24 and the 16. Nice little gap there, which is going to give that second run here a nice run as they catch them back up. Should be able to push right down the back stretch and 088 just had to switch out an old frozen mug. I've been there before, and luckily for him, he is, like you said, going to be the first car one lap down. And not only that, but his teammate is up here leading the race again, Everett Lane. So we know Gabe is good enough just to sit right there in front of that pack and lead that pack. And if a caution does come out, he'll be the first person to get his lap back. And these guys right here, we got 30 laps to go, boom. And this is where my strategy, if I'm Hayden or Justin, I'm trying to make a deal back here, maybe with somebody has another 2-car team or something like that, is we're going to have somebody peel off. I think that's going to be
Hayden Davis.
Yeah, Hayden Davis. Well, there goes that strategy. I was going to say maybe these guys pull in, lap 52, lap 53 and pit early and hope to miss the mess and try to get it back that way. But that strategy is going to be out the windows. We can start to see these guys start to pick up as the 51. He's still moving forward. Boom.
Yeah, having a good night so far is Jim Brooks there, well in top 5 there, up 16 spots. And yeah, so Hayden Davis comes down. Looks like he's going to serve a penalty and get service done to that number 19. But yeah, definitely unfortunate for him. Typically, if you get a penalty after your pit stop and don't have a chance to serve it in the pit stop under yellow, you're going to have to come back down under green. And a lot of times that's a speeding on pit road after your pit stop or your pit stall, and or a commitment line violation coming up above the double yellow line before the pit exit cone. So timing and scoring is doing a little bit of catch up, but it looks like Gabe Butler is only 1 lap down now, and we can see that it shows in timing and scoring that he's catching the leaders, but obviously that's not the case. So think as of right now that should be correct, that he's 1 lap down. We'll see how it sorts out. Hayden Davis is going to be 1 lap down, and Gabe will probably be 2 by the time these leaders catch him, which should be pretty quickly here.
Yeah, definitely gonna catch him pretty quickly here, and he's gonna have to make a decision, and it's really gonna have to be to help his teammate. I would assume. I seen Everett try to make that move. Maybe he tries to get to that outside lane just to keep him up there and help fight for that battle, as they'll eventually catch the 19 also. But you're gonna see the 88 here go to the 3rd lane and let these guys roll on by.
Yeah, so the 88 goes 2 laps down there. It looks like timing and scoring is caught up. Should be able to latch on to this pack, but Hayden Davis is going to be the one who the pack will pick up sooner. So Gabe is probably hoping, well, I guess it doesn't matter at this point. Gabe is 2 laps down and behind him, so the 55 of Dean Wilkinson is going to come up there and give the 88 a good push, making sure that he can stay with that pack here. So pretty much everybody in this lead pack now, except for Hayden Davis. Obviously, Robert Hooligan was our early retirement, unfortunately, after that first incident. Yeah, Cody Nagels and Everett Lane still trying to be the class of the field, swapping positions back and forth on that front row.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, we're going to get a 3rd lane here picked up, and it's definitely getting – these guys up front are moving around a bunch. But it was pretty cool to see, and it's one thing I love about iRacing, especially here with Area 51 running so many super speedways. Big push there by the 52. But was the memories of if you've never been to Daytona or Talladega, it's just awesome to see in person. And when we were showing that highlight of Gabe and then Hayden being back there by themselves, one of the coolest things, and I think you can really only experience it at a super speedway, was when that one, that guy back in the day barely made the race, and you could see him traveling around. As we got somebody there in the wall, the fans, how crazy they would go for that one car, and that's what it threw me back to when we seen the 88 and the 19 of them guys back there riding by themselves.
Yeah, indeed, definitely brings you back to the good old days of stock car racing, and obviously these Xfinity cars are no exception. They're still, still the same long arm, trailing arm, coil sprung, setup that, stock cars have been for how many decades now, and these cars are, honestly, in my opinion, so much fun to drive. The trucks are definitely very more aero sensitive, obviously with a lot less power, but to me the mix of the Xfinity cars kind of being that old school is really the best of both worlds, and I really enjoy getting a chance to race these cars, especially at super speedways. But we're coming around here. Cody Nagels is going to lead another lap. Everett Lane is still in the second position, and we have swapped over from counting up to counting down in the final third of this race. 25 laps to go.
Yeah, I like seeing the 52 up here. I think he's maybe just a tad bit too far out to make the playoffs, but he's giving them one heck of a run for their money up there, running second. We'll head to a brief commercial.
Yeah, so we are working lap 25 to go here. Cody Nagels in that number 16 is going to jump to the high side to cover Everett Lane. Dale Rapp is going to get pushed to the lead of that inside lane with 714 of Doug Webb. The 48 of Ryan Decker there just behind him, so that's the 16, the 24, and then the 411 of Tom Dixon in the high line at the moment here. And we know everybody pitted last on lap 42 or 43 under that caution, so we've got, that puts us at about 35, 33 laps to go on fuel, so we know that everybody's going to have to pit at least once more, and that window should open either this time or next time by, Brandon, to go to the end.
Yeah, and this is where the strategies, if they're dicing it up here, boom. For some of these guys that's been in trouble, hey, I'm talking with my team. If we've already been in maybe a wreck or two and we don't have a fast repair, these guys even in the back are 3 wide. Hey, I'm talking, hey, the window's open. Do you guys just want to come down here and we'll ride around here by ourselves, knowing we'll eventually link back up with these guys, but we lose a little bit of harm of being caught up in the wreck.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a gamble. You can come down now, and you know that you want to make sure you'll have enough to get to the end, because really the big advantage there is if you come early, and as long as you're on the lead lap, if a yellow does come out and everybody else still needs to pit, you are going to cycle up to the front. But obviously if you get trapped a lap down or anything else crazy happens, it's definitely not always the most beneficial move, and sometimes staying out is more helpful for sure. But speaking of help, that 24 is going to have a couple more teammates here in the 071 and the 88 as they're making a charge in that third lane, trying to get to the front as more Team Bootnakas look to join Everett Lane, who's had quite a night here, controlling most of this race alongside of Cody Nagels, and those guys battling very hard, running very strong tonight. We'll see if anybody else has anything for them as the 77 gets a little wide, maybe hits the wall there in turn 2, but we stay green and moving forward.
Yeah, put yourself in the shoes there of the 81. Anthony Lane, big push there to the 411 as the 52's got to get back up. You don't want to hit the track as you're in the corner. Good move there by the 52, but I was just getting ready to say, imagine being in the shoes of the 81, stuck right there in the middle of all that, right on the bubble of the points and not having anywhere to go. So it's tough racing, and you got to be patient and on your shoes right there, as anything can happen at any time.
Yeah, anything at any time can and will happen in super speedway racing. And obviously for Anthony Lane, he's in a pretty decent spot. Like we said, Bob Fitzgerald is 14 points back. Dale Rapp is 18 points back, which is still mathematically possible, definitely not probable. But Dale Rapp doing everything he needs to do there, as he is actually the leader. So Gabe Butler gets ahead of the field to be 1 lap down, but he is lapped, so he will be still scored in that 22nd position, So Dale Rapp is actually getting some time up at the front, leading some laps, and the 16 of Cody Nagels up there as well. So Dale Rapp getting a bonus point for himself to try and help that situation. 18 points is definitely a lot to overcome, and he would probably need someone like Gary Huffines or Anthony Lane to not really finish the race, and in order to get enough points there. So if he wins, I would think that either Gary Huffines or Anthony Lane would have to pretty much finish last. So definitely going to be a tall task, but still not impossible at this point.
Yeah, we just seen Roswell. The whole team came to pit road right there. Boom. All 5 of them, they came down together. The window open. Now they know they can even make it on a green-white checkered with coming this late to go. With we seen earlier how far Maxwell went and those guys. So now these guys got to get lined up, get their speeds built back up, and not lose anything. Gary Huffines here. Oh, Jim Brooks still on pit road. I'm gonna
penalty.
assume a speeding entering pit road here. Tough break for him. But these other guys out here, they gotta get up to speed and get going. As these guys out here is not organized at all, and you can see Team Bootnaka immediately saying, "Hey, we gotta follow suit. These guys up here just not organized. We cannot afford to lose time."
So the 24, 071, 714, and the 8 are in together. They're going to leave Gabe Butler out as the lap car. So Cody Nichols, a little bit of contact there with the wall for the 19. It looks like Jim Brooks is finally coming out of his pit stall, but Cody Nagels continues to lead again. Dale Rapp is in second. Justin Davis. You got Tom Dixon and Anthony Lane in the top 5 at the moment. Obviously, the lap car of Gabe Butler in the mix of this pack as well, and we'll see if anybody's going to answer the call and come down this time, or if they're going to stretch it for a few more laps, which is what exactly they're going to do.
I think Cody Nagels has to be smart here. You can't really go off you can't go off the 88 waiting for him to go, because remember, he's a lap or so down. He's got a little bit more laps of fuel than these guys up here. So the 16 really going to have to link up with the teammates, and he's running there with TW. So you can still see, I believe Dean Wilkinson is right there on that outside, I believe. So he's got some teammates coming to help.
Yeah, always good, as we mentioned, to have some teammates out there. But 18 laps to go. Cody Nagels, Tom Dixon, Dale Rapp, Anthony Lane, Justin Davis, your top 5. Dean Wilkinson, Todd Merkel, Maxwell Caldwell, Bob Fitzgerald, and Joshua Highball, your top 10. Robert Amaral, throw him in this pack. Then you got to go back 37 seconds behind our leaders to find Ryan Decker, who is leading the charge in this Roswell and Bootnaka mixed group here of 6 drivers. So you got from Brian Decker all the way back to Doug Webb here in this pack. You go back another 10 seconds, you're going to find Gary Huffines all on his lonesome. Eric Laurie, another 30 seconds back, and a penalty for speeding on pit road for him. You go another 7 seconds back to find Jim Brooks for the same issues, and then Gabe Butler still locked into this lead pack, who has not yet pit. Hayden Davis in that pack as well as a lap car, and that's pretty much where everybody is at with 17 laps to go.
Yeah, now what Gary Huffines wanted to see right here is they're going to go by him on the inside. He was 3 points out looking into this playoff tonight. So he's definitely going to hope for a caution. I believe that's going to put him 1 lap down. He is going to be in the lucky dog spot, but Eric Laurie, Jim Brooks, those guys are going to be fighting for it also.
Yeah, and another reminder, so Gary Huffines comes into the night 13th in points, but obviously Charles Johnson and Jack Walls have rescinded their eligibility for the playoffs. So Gary Huffines at the moment is in. His biggest worry really is going to be Bob Fitzgerald and Dale Rapp. As obviously Dale having a really solid night there in the top 3 at the moment. We'll see if he can continue to capitalize on that. But as of right now, it looks decent for Gary Huffines, even though he is back in the 18th place. If Dale Rapp were to win this race, I don't know if that would be enough points for him to pass Anthony Lane or Gary Huffines, because as you mentioned, Dale Rapp came in with an 18-point deficit. So if Dale does win and the 00 is in 18th place, then that might be enough points to do it, but it's going to be close.
The 52, I believe, also got a lap led, so you throw a bonus point in there.
That helps.
Hey, it's gonna come down to every position matters, and that's gonna really start to intensify this race as we got 15 laps to go. As Cody Nagels, he's been up here leading this race and just staying calm. And I talked about it the other week. Man, to lead up here and be as confident as he holds a really, really, really solid good line. As we watch around here, the 16, the car does not really move much off that yellow.
Yeah, no, Cody holds a very, very pretty wheel. And obviously, I mean, there's a reason that him and Gabe Butler have kind of been trading back and forth between the point standings here tonight. Obviously, Gabe not having the night that he wanted with the mistake on pit road, and he actually came back down. Well, no, sorry, it wasn't a mistake on pit road. Did he have a speed penalty? I can't remember. I know he obviously had the blown motor and the caution, so the last issue there, at least, not of his own doing. So yeah, no, there was no penalty for the 88 other than just the penalty of being involved in that incident. So that's how the 88 got to where he is. So unfortunate for him, but I mean, still having a decent showing and pushing that 16 car ahead of the pack. 14 laps to go. I think they can go closer to probably, 4, 5, 6 laps to go before everyone else has to pit. Looking at the speeds, as of right now, Bud Steele actually comes across the stripe here. Last time by, Bud Steele was about 0.3 of a second faster than the lap that Cody Nagels just ran. We'll see if that holds true, but if it does, that's a really good position for these Roswell Motorsports guys to be moving forward. And for the most part, Gary Huffines is in the pack. Yes, pretty much everybody has found a pack. I think Eric Laurie is the only one that was not in a pack, but now pretty much everybody has found some form of dancing partner. And as we see across the stripe, Bud Steele runs a 50.95 to Cody Nagels' 50.82. We'll see what Cody Nagels runs this time by, but they're kind of trading a tenth or two back and forth each lap. So 50.95 and then a 50.89 for Cody Nagels. So right now the net gain is pretty much nothing between this pack here that has pitted already and then this pack here which is singling out, getting ready for green flag pit stops once again.
Yeah, good. But I think them guys are still going to benefit. This pack that's going to come in here is going to be a big, massive group, and just the odds are a little bit higher of things not just being organized. Those guys came in together as a team, and up here it's just going to be really super spread out. A lot of guys probably not used to pitting with some of the guys up there. So Cody Nagels is really, really going to have to hit his marks up here. And if you're the 88, I would assume he's got a pit, right? Also, still.
Yes, correct.
Yes, yes. Okay, so he's going to come down there, so you can count on him to be pitting with you. And man, this is going to be tough. And these guys, I would assume, got to run it at least. I would assume 2 or 3 more laps to only take 1 can. If they came now, I would assume that would be a can and a half, maybe, where they would have it.
Yeah, about I think definitely would be an advantage to take less fuel if they go longer. We'll keep an eye on the pit time. Bud Steele still leading that second pack. He had a 6.72 second pit stop. Jack Walls 6.65. Ryan Decker 7.05. We'll see if that's any less for these leaders as they come down pit road soon. And they will be able to take, as you mentioned, Brandon, a little bit less fuel as the distance to the end is not going to be as great. So we'll see if that's an advantage, and if so, I mean, obviously, we've highlighted how much 1 second even on track position makes a huge difference. So the seconds that you spend on pit road make probably more difference for track position in a lot of cases than that and getting in and off of pit road. So pretty much everything that has to deal with pit road is going to be where you can make up and lose so much more time than just simply being on the track, as we see quite a bit of drivers are going to be coming down this time led by the 16 of Cody Nagels, who bobbles and weaves, gets a little contact from the back with the 10. No harm, no foul. Hopefully no penalties for these drivers as they come down pit road here.
Yeah, I seen the lockup happen, and I held my breath just for a second. Now these guys got to get in here clean. We've seen earlier these guys get into each other, spin around here. Cody Nagels gets perfectly into his box. Looks like left side tire is going to go on for most of these guys up here now. Got a packet full of fuel. Remember the guys earlier, I think they took enough where they could go to the green-white checkered. These guys right here, ooh, dang, that's close right there. Too close for my comfort.
Yeah, that's one thing to mention. You saw actually the cars were technically inside of each other for a second there, and that is allowed to happen when you go on pit road. When you see where the concrete pit stalls are, that is where you cannot make contact with another car. On the rest of the asphalt to the outside of the pit lane, that is where you can make contact. Now, if you come off of that concrete surface within the profile of another car, it will ghost you to the other car, and it'll not allow you to make contact, which is what you saw there with the 16 and the 52 as they came off of pit road. Obviously, a bit of a safety feature there as drivers go from being a ghost car to everybody else to not, between the difference of being in your pit stall and being on pit road, because obviously you can still make contact on the pavement on pit road, but once you get to that concrete pit stall, all contact is removed and you can drive through as many cars as you want to.
And that's a real good benefit too, because that could have caused chaos right there, and that could have ended Dale Rapp's chance of ever making the playoffs. As we can see, the 94s, these guys are going to come 3 wide. He's made his way back into the top 5. We got 8 to go. We got playoff spots on the line. Business is about to pick up.
Yeah, and you see the 6, the 83 there, got a good push to the outside as that group catches up. So pretty much status quo from where we were before that green flag pit stop, and that's going to put the top 13 back in the mix. Unfortunately, Joshua Highbaugh, Bob Fitzgerald here in this pack are going to be just off of the tail of that lead draft. You got to go another 3 seconds back to find Robert Amaral and Anthony Lane. Gary Huffines in 18th. So this is definitely going to be a sweat moment for the 81 and the 00. So as we mentioned, they came in at the cutoff, 185 points, both of them, with the last 2 spots in the playoffs. Bob Fitzgerald was 14 points behind. Dale Rapp was 18. And Dale Rapp obviously has a bonus point for leading a lap, which the other 2 drivers, Anthony and Gary, do not have for tonight. So that puts the 52 in a really good position, but I think he has to win this race to make that push. So he's not going to do it sitting behind the 16 of Cody Nagels there in the inside lane, as we are now 3 wide action with 6 laps to go at the front of this lead pack.
Yeah, and you said it perfectly. He's got to win this race. So I'm going over the mic right now, letting everybody in the race know, hey, this car is going to be about 4 lane wide here in about 5.5 laps. So if I got a shot, I'm taking it. If I wreck you, I'm sorry, but I got to get into the playoffs. I've raced all season to try and get into the playoffs. So the gloves are off. It's time to make your impact. Try to leave your mark here in Area 51, and you can't do that without being in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's quite impressive to see how tight of a battle this is shaping up to be. Dale Rapp has a really great opportunity for Silver Fox Racing to make it into these playoffs here. He's got to get around the 16 of Cody Nagels at some point. So does he make a move to push it 4 wide? Does a hole open up in the middle lane for him to move up and move forward? We'll have to wait and see. We are inside 5 laps to go, though.
Yeah, and this is getting to the point where, as these laps start to click off, as you said at point, perfect, where does he go? As you can see, these cars start to move around. Some of these guys are going to find that hole, and they're going to say, hey, I got to try it. When do you decide to make that decision? As we know, these guys got to keep these temps low. We've seen these cars blow up. You don't want to blow up a lap shy, never have a shot at it. So you can see it now. I think these guys are making sure those temps are cooled off. The gaps are starting to spread out a little bit. They got a pre-run right there. Now these guys are getting ready to push it.
Yeah, definitely. These cars, kind of like with the trucks we've mentioned before, seem to be quite a bit more stable. So obviously there's the overheating issues, which are very unique, that aren't typical, at least haven't been in previous builds, but the cars definitely are fairly stable, and you can see obviously we do have the extra space here, 48 foot wide at Talladega, over 40 foot at Atlanta and Daytona, and then obviously iRacing Superspeedway is about 1 million foot wide, but those 8 extra feet really give plenty of room for 3 wide action to be pretty comfortable, as you see a 3-pack of Roswell Motorsports now working on the high side. The 94 has the push from TW Motorsports' Dean Wilkinson in the middle, and Dale Rapp of Silver Fox Racing continues to push the 16 of Cody Nagels, and Eric Laurie and Gabe Butler are going to come down pit road together to make their final pit stops, both from the 19th and 21st places, a lap and 2 laps down.
Yeah, and that's not there what Dale Rapp wanted to see. That's going to give Gary Huffines another position as those guys go around. I know Gabe's not, but Eric Laurie will go a lap down, and I would assume the 19 or the 00 will go around him. But we
Yep,
got
he
three to
has.
go. Three wide race in here. Ryan Decker, the football coach, coming up here telling these boys, I still got it behind the wheel. He confirmed he's going to be here next season. He's showing these fellas, hey, I still got it.
Yeah, Ryan Decker's always been a staple of the league. Obviously, his wife Caitlin, probably one of the the best viewers that we have. At least usually hanging out in the chat with us. So we appreciate him coming back and love to see him back in the car and see him back in there for next season. But yeah, for now, the 94 gets the push from the 55. The 16 still gets the push from the 52. Dale Rapp probably needing to be in position to win this race. Anthony Lane has jumped up to 16th place ahead of Robert Amaral. Gary Huffines is by himself, but he did pass Eric Laurie, as you mentioned, Brandon, as they come down for their final service. So it's all up to that 52 to try to win this race to even give himself a chance. Does he ever get clear to that middle lane? As he sees a little bit of daylight there in front of the 94, but the charge comes back to the 94 through the tri-oval as Maxwell Caldwell is going to try and make his charge to win this race with 1 lap to go. White flag out on the speedway.
Yeah, and I think he's going to get his wish. That middle lane's going to fizzle out there a little bit with Everett Lane going to the top. Maybe if he can get a good push, he can maybe create a little lane there to jump up in front of Maxwell. It's going to get tight, though, here. Everett Lane really making a bold decision there, jumping to that third lane. He's got to be confident in it. Is that 48's really hauling? Hey, that might have been the play right there. Is Everett Lane's really hauling on that outside lane? He's moved all the way to the lead.
Everett Lane and the 16 of Cody Nagels have controlled this race for just about every aspect, led probably the most laps between the two of them, more than just about anybody else, but the 24 does not have a good enough push from the 48 through the tri-oval. The 16 on the bottom there, little bit of contact side by side. Does Dale Rapp push the 16 to the lead? He will. Dale Rapp finishes second. Cody Nagels gets another race win. They're going to wreck after the checkers, and that is going to be a regular season points championship for the number 16 of Cody Nagels.
Tough position there for the 52, and hopefully it pays out for him. Man, it would have been so hard not to try to make a move or try to even put the bumper a little bit to the 16. It's the playoffs. Dang. It's going to be so interesting to see how the numbers crunch, but hats off to the 16. He was up there, did the same thing as always, as he says, be up front, lead as much as you can, and hopefully you're there at the end as he's getting ready to burn it down.
Yeah, some celebration for the 16 coming here as he comes down the front straightaway. Lots of fun in the celebrations that this 16 truck has. We'll try to see if we can grab those race results for you here. Obviously, always unofficial, but we'll go through those before we get into our interviews. So you see Cody Nagels for Nightmare Esports coming home victorious here. Quite a few wins on the season for him this year. Definitely has had a very great year, and I mean won quite a few at the beginning of the season, and is still being able to do that later on, and is definitely taking advantage of what he can. So that is going to be checking the standings here. I think 4 or 5 wins, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, it's going to take a little second to load. So Cody Nagels, obviously, winner there. Dale Rapp, a very valiant effort for him. I don't know if it's going to be enough to make it to the next round or into the playoffs. I should say there's only one round, 4 races over the next couple weeks. But it helped that Anthony Lane finished 16th and Gary Huffines finished 18th, but with an 18-point deficit, I don't know if Dale Rapp is going to get in or not. So we will have to wait for the official point standings there as we're going through these unofficial race results. So Dale Rapp, a really solid effort. Maxwell Caldwell comes home in the 3rd position. Really had a quiet night. I mean, we really didn't talk about Maxwell much at all, just because he was kind of behind the scenes in most of the battles and just keeping his nose clean. And when it mattered most, he put his car where he needed to and had a chance to try and win it. Obviously, a little contact there through the tri-oval, and that might have broken up some of his momentum, but a third place finish for him. Justin Davis there, a solid effort in that number 10 truck. He should be well on his way into the playoffs here. And Dean Wilkinson for TW Motorsports in that 55 Ford Mustang, solid night. Dude Conrad finishes well within the top 10. Tom Dixon, a good night for him in the 411. Ryan Decker making his return to the series, a solid 8th place finish. Had an opportunity for a little bit more at the end. Obviously, some of the calamity on that final lap put him a little bit further back. Doug Webb, a pretty good showing for him tonight. Everett Lane, obviously, involved in the contact early enough, but I mean, was definitely one of the cars that was controlling this race. He'll definitely be a challenger in the playoffs for the next couple weeks. Todd Merkel coming home in 11th place, and Bud Steele, after having a really great night, unfortunately is going to be in the 12th position. Still one of our highest chargers, or highest climbers, hardest chargers, whatever you want to call it. Up 10 spots from his starting point. Dale Rapp actually wins that, though, at plus 14. Dean Wilkinson at plus 13. Good night for all those drivers. Jack Walls there for Rossa Motorsports on the tail end of that lead pack. And then we see Joshua Highbaugh and Bob Fitzgerald, some issues on the final pit stop. They are 12 seconds behind the field. And obviously we mentioned some of the struggles for Anthony Lane, Robert Amaral, and Gary Huffines. We will wait to see where those guys net out in the point standings, and we will finish out our results here. So Jim Brooks gets caught a lap down. Unfortunately, I believe he had a speeding penalty on his last pit stop after having a pretty solid effort for tonight. Eric Laurie, same deal, had that pit road speeding penalty, and that put him enough down that it didn't help. And then obviously Hayden Davis and Gabe Butler there getting trapped 2 laps down. Gabe, no fault of his own, obviously, took the engine damage and had to take the tow back to pit road. And from that time that it takes, you can't just hit the escape key and your car magically appear on pit road and you can get back in it. There's some realism to, making sure that there's enough time to actually tow the car back to the pit stall. So unfortunately for Gabe, not of his own doing, is going to finish in the 22nd position. And then obviously we saw Robert Hooligan retire early after being involved in one of the earlier incidents for tonight. So that will do it for the race results. So we got our first driver to bring up here, and that is going to be the number 94 of Maxwell Caldwell, coming home in the 3rd position for tonight. Why don't you take us through all that took to get there for you tonight, Maxwell?
Absolutely. I mean, just quiet night. Like I heard y'all say on the broadcast, we just kind of, I wish this would have went caution free. I think y'all saw what me and Todd were trying to do that first run, and we could have done that the next run and probably made it on fuel when the rest of the field couldn't. That would have been spectacular, but the cautions come out and kind of jacked with that a little bit. Every time I just took 4 tires and fuel, I said I want to be on offense instead of defense when I can. So right there with just a few laps to go, I saw kind of the outside lane. I'd waited on Todd as long as I could, but just couldn't wait much longer. So moved up to that middle lane and didn't realize who I got in front of, but when I saw it was Dean, I knew I was in good hands. So he got me up there, and it was just, I didn't know how to give him air to get the temps down for that last charge. And so I knew he was doing what he could. And each lap, when we were getting to the start-finish line, I'd be slightly ahead of that 16. And I'm like, oh, if we could just keep this pattern, we'll be fine. But all that moving from the middle lane, I think at the start of the last lap, people moving out to the 3rd lane just killed a lot of energy, more than it needed to. And then I tried to side drift just a little too hard in the tri-oval. But I mean, for all the times I've come up here and said, I don't know why we can't finish a race without wrecking, that's the kind of action you can get when we're not wrecking on the last lap. I mean, people actually have a chance. They actually have a shot to race for it. And I thought, I mean, I may be biased because I came in 3rd, but I thought that was a really, really fun bout. And I don't care to lose when racing is that way. So, fun night.
Yeah, it was, y'all put on one heck of a show for us up here, had us on our toes all night. But you brought up the temps. How was that for you? How many laps could you really push it? Because we're going to come back here to Talladega a couple times in the playoffs. So what did you really learn tonight with those temps?
The temps really weren't a factor. In practice, I blew it up trying to be aggressive. A lot of times you can let it flash a little bit, cool it off, let it flash a little bit, cool it off. And I did that in practice. And then all of a sudden I barely got it flashing and it just blew up on me. And I was like, this might be an interesting night. Someone's probably going to blow up in the pack, but kudos to the pack that nobody did. I don't know if anything changed between practice and race time as far as temperature went, but nobody blew up. Pushes were solid all night. You can push for about a lap before she gets hot, but a lot of times I really wasn't pushing hard when I was in the pack, and then right there at the end I was kind of just leading the charge. So I was just relying on someone else to get that air and push, and I was really trying to side draft the 16 and the 52, I think it was, because he kept peeking for air, and I was like, no, I want you to get really hot. I want you to get really hot so the 16 ain't got momentum. And a couple times I saw him have to bail out really hard to get air. So, and that's when we would gain the momentum on them. I just could not time that right there for the end. But temps, big deal. I think bigger than the temps, though, I learned the fuel strat of how you can make it the 25 laps that other people can't. And if the race tonight really should have went green. I have no idea what that first yellow was. It was completely, no, I do know it was the leader getting wrecked, and I don't really know how you do that when we're in a single file line. But if that wreck didn't happen, I think we'd have been on the winning edge of this, and we'd have had Todd Merkel there in P2. So that's the big thing I learned is fuel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, you guys were in a really good position there to be able to probably pit less than just about everybody else. I don't know if anybody would have been able to stretch as far on fuel, but obviously, so we end the regular season here. Don't know exactly how the points are going to shake out, but definitely top 5 in the regular season points. So pretty strong showing so far through the season. How does your mindset change, week in, week out as you prepare for these next 4 weeks, next 4 races here in the playoffs to try to compete for that championship?
I think the biggest thing is we can't have these white flag last lap wrecks that we've had all season long. I think tonight was one of, may have been the only one, but if not the only, it was only like 2 this season that we didn't have some weird last lap crash that took out half the field. If we can avoid that, and I feel like I can actually race for it, I think we have a chance. I could use another teammate or two. 2 cars isn't quite enough with this Xfinity car. You really need 3 or more. But for the little 2-car team that could, I thought me and Todd had a solid night tonight. So it just goes to show what can happen when all the wrecking doesn't happen. So, and guys feel confident to go up there and race. But really for the playoffs, I've been in the situation where I've been the points leader going into the playoff, and then all of a sudden I had 4 of the worst races of the season. So the goal is to survive, to make it, and to be there for the final race. But really the goal is to just consistent top 5s. Because I think we saw tonight, these guys are not indestructible. I know throughout the season there was a race or two that Cody Nagels had some bad finishes. And then tonight you saw the chink in Gabe Butler's armor. I mean, I wish this was next week. I hate to say that, but if he's going to have a mistake, I'd rather be in them playoffs than when he's locked in already. But you just see the power of if one bad race can really change everything in this. And when you're dealing with Gabe Butler and Cody Nagels, both guys that are, I'm not even going to say top 5 runners, top 2 runners every single week in and week out. I mean, that's your competition. That's what you got to go against. So I don't do the restrictor plates all the time. They do. So it's just a matter of learning how to play the chess game and seeing if we can get one over on them.
Yeah, have to wait and see how it all unfolds, but obviously you got a pretty solid shot there, and a pretty solid effort to finish out that regular season, and we'll give you that red carpet rollout for anything shout-outs you'd like to give for that 3rd place finish here tonight, Maxwell.
Foremost, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I mean, what a blessing it's been for many years. I took a year off, but pretty much this was the first league I ever ran in iRacing, and it's kind of cool to be back running it again. Still hoping one of these days they'll bring back the series where you can run more than just plate races. I think that'd be really, really popular move if they could do it. But I do enjoy plate racing on a Sunday night. That's a lot of fun in this Xfinity car. So thankful to be blessed to be able to come and be with all these guys for the many years I have. It's actually where I met Todd Merkel, was in this league, and now he's my sponsor and teammate. So thankful for him for being a teammate. Thankful for his sponsorship with Merkel Racing Engines on the hood. Been doing that for, we saw a memory on Facebook this week of 3 years now that he sponsored the car. And it's like, where's the time gone? So awesome to have him on the hood. And then just thankful for the league. Area 51 has went through a lot of stuff over the years, but still stood the test of time and still getting great car numbers week in and week out. So kudos to the admins for running a great league. And last but not least, the Green White Checkered crew. You know as well as I do, Boomer. I've been a part of it. I've helped broadcast races. I've helped run races. I think me and you have been in the booth together a time or two.
Yeah,
so
quite a few
I
times.
know
Yeah.
all the work and the behind the scenes that goes into it, and I know it's no easy task. So watching and hearing y'all tonight, y'all did a fantastic job calling the race. Guy L should be proud to have you guys. And last but not least, I need to remind you just who the real 94 car is, Boomer.
I knew you were gonna say that by the end. So,
Snuck it
yeah.
in.
Yeah, no, it's always fun. Obviously, we had some fun calling some races together, but great to see you back in the car and having a good run out there. So do our number proud, and hopefully get a chance to talk to us very soon. And some good luck in the playoffs for you.
Absolutely. And next time we talk, can we be in the number one spot when we talk? That'd be
Hey,
great.
that's all up to you, man. That's your job to I can bring you up if you finish top three, but you gotta earn that spot, that top one to get that interview. But anyway, congratulations, buddy, and hope to talk to you again very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all.
Alrighty, the next one we've got to pull up is going to be the 52 of Dale Rapp, who had a incredible race tonight. In the mix pretty much all night long, obviously in the right place, right times. Unfortunately, stuck behind the 16 towards the end, couldn't get out from behind him, but pushed the 16 to a win. Dale from 18 points back coming into the night in the point standings. Were you expecting to be this close to being able to try and make your way into the playoffs tonight?
I was hoping for a good night, that's for sure. Yeah, definitely pleased with the second place. Felt pretty good. That last pit stop, I was able to come out. Cody and I hooked up just right off the bat out of the hole on that last pit, and I knew right then that we were going to be up towards the front. If everything stayed green. So, yeah, it looked like Maxwell and Wilkerson. Maxwell got down and tried to side draft Cody a little bit, and I think they lost a little momentum coming to the line, so that secured my second place. Good run, that's for sure. SFR, all my team guys, we all started back, I think 13, 14, 15, something like that. And we decided just kind of pay attention to what was going on up front and be patient. And when I first come over here, first few races, I had maybe a little more aggressiveness than I needed to be running around the guys. And Charles talked to me a little bit, and I've tried to calm my program down, get a little more patience with these guys. And hope I didn't make any enemies along the way, because I enjoy running with them. It's a good group, a lot of talent in here. So, yeah, well, I think when you get a podium here in Area 51, it's against these guys, it's a good night.
Yeah, I think you had one heck of a run, and it's not like you finished a wreck happen and you just happened to finish in second spot. You was up there and you held your own, and they said with the temperatures and everything, the car was a little different, and to be up there, and I didn't see anything wrong that you did. So, and I was in the same booth when I came in here. I was the same way. Bud had to sit me down and have a little bit talking with me, and it was just to understand these guys, and I think that's what makes it great about this league. And unfortunate, you're gonna miss the playoffs by a point, but with this second place run, what does this do for your confidence and going forward to take Silver Fox and put them in victory lane?
Well, we keep coming back week after week. Yeah, like I said, it's probably it's really tough to get a win over here. So anytime we can set up on the podium with these guys, it's a good day for us. I'm learning every week with them. So, yeah, appreciate my teammates, Lane, Highball, and Amaral. It's good group of guys. We try to stick together. With one goes, I think we all go, and so. Yeah. Anyway, congratulations, Cody. Appreciate Bud and all the admins put Area 51 together, and Charles, all the guys. Enjoy it. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Dale, obviously, you did our job for us. You rolled your own red carpet out and gave your thanks and shoutouts. But if there's anything else you want to add, feel free to do so, sir, for that second place finish tonight.
Yeah, just appreciate you guys. A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like you guys are having a blast out there tonight. Congrats to you, and a good run for for you and some of your SFR teammates. So hopefully get a chance to talk to you again. Obviously, bummer to see you miss the playoffs by such a small margin, but still going to be back. I hope to compete for wins for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we tried. I think Highball made it, so I'm pretty sure he's in the playoffs. So
yep,
we'll do what we can to help him out. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Anthony Lane, I think, also made it in as well. He was one of the last two spots, so should have a couple teammates there to cheer on in the playoffs. But anyway, congratulations for a solid race tonight, Dale, and hopefully get a chance to talk to you again very soon.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, so that is going to bring in the final interview of the night, and it is going to be one no stranger to the booth, no stranger to talking on the broadcast. It is the 16 of Cody Nagels, victorious once again here this season.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I set out to lead a lot of laps in this race, and we stayed mostly green, and it went pretty much to plan. Thankfully, there wasn't too many tricks or anything that kind of threw me for a loop there. So just typical Area 51 race, and I figure if we run a lot of green flag laps that I just keep my car out front and see where it gets me at the end. And normally it's the races that we wreck a lot that we don't have many of them, but the ones that we do are the ones that I tend to not do very well in. So I like these, get some green flag stops in and extended runs, and I'm kind of able to execute my game plan a little better.
I got a quick question, and it's how are you able? We've seen you bounce around from different teams. A lot of times it's TW or running with Vicente when he's here. How are you tonight? You just were able to control that bottom line, and how do you keep so much faith in it when you don't have a lot of teammates behind you? That the guy behind you, no matter what, you guys are gonna run good enough so the outside lane doesn't dominate, and you really held it down and didn't really give anybody else a chance because you guys were so strong on the inside.
I feel like I've kind of ran the car enough to kind of learn when I need to side draft the top. Like when the run comes, I will try to side draft it just enough to pull me equal to them so the lead guy don't clear. Even if they run up, I'll try to like catch their side draft a little bit. Or run just a little high and then on entry be able to go back down to the bottom, which makes them have to enter a little bit later than they normally would feel comfortable entering. It's just there's like little tips and tricks. I mean, I know there at the end, if Maxwell was running up a little bit, I would run up a little bit to give Dale a little bit of air because I knew he was going to need it at the end to be able to push me in, but I didn't know if he would be able to push clear enough to get ahead of Maxwell. So I just was trying to give him air as much as I could, but then I had the decision on whether, do I go mid and let Justin push Dale and let Maxwell push me? But then Dean told me that he was about to blow up. So with that being said, I kind of prepared just to stay bottom, knowing that it's a cool track. But it kind of depends. It's weather dependent with track temp and just kind of how the race flow is going. But if I'm running by myself, I tend to obviously have to run a little bit more selfish and be a little bit more precise with the side drafting. Whereas if if I've got guys that are near me that I'm running with, I can kind of sit back and relax a little bit more and just kind of ride idle behind them, or just kind of, it seems like it's an easier flow in the race where like tonight I felt like I wanted to, it don't really mean much, but like in the grand scheme of things, obviously we want to win the actual championship, but I was going for the regular season, and I wanted to beat Gabe for that one because obviously I missed Friday, and I was out at dinner with my fiance and her family, so I wanted to make sure I got here, and I figure if I could run, a race that I know I can, that just keep my car out front as much as possible, that it would give me a good chance. But I knew the first domino to fall needed to be that I had to lead the most laps. That way I could pull close to even with Gabe. And then from there, obviously just try to get a better finishing position. And Gabe had a couple mistakes, so I knew I just needed to keep my car clean and come home with a good finish.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, that execution for tonight was pretty solid. I mean, obviously, you and Everett Lane were really the class of the field, which we've seen more than one time this season. You guys being up there duking it out, and it looks like you're having a lot of fun doing it too. But obviously, you kind of already mentioned it, the playoffs. That championship that's looming over the next 4 weeks. Like you said, you won the regular season championship, and now you're going to be looking to compete in the playoffs here with these 11 other drivers. How does the mindset shift for you, or does it shift at all? Are you just trying to go into every race like it's any given week, or is there any extra focus or highlights to any preparation that you're going to be trying to work towards in the next 4 races?
The one thing that I tried doing it in any race, but I feel like there's added pressure for the playoffs for a lot of drivers. So when I go out, I really just try to control the race and lead as many laps as possible and just run my race, and not give anyone a chance to really take control. Because, like, for instance, boot knockers have, they're running with 5 guys tonight. So, you get Gabe and Everett up there, I know it's going to be hard for me to regain control of the race. So I have got to jump on it early, get control, and then from there, I feel like they're kind of playing catch up, where if I kind of run in the back and just ride for a little bit, I don't feel like I have control of the race. And then there's just too many variables with, getting ARCA braked in a wreck or something happening in front of me and me getting caught up in it. And I'm not the best at avoiding wrecks anyway, so I just prefer to stay out in front of it. But, you just can't give control to guys that are good pushers, know how to control lanes and know how to manage temps. And, I still have my work cut out for me in the playoffs, but, I definitely think I can get it done, but it's going to take, I believe it's going to take flawless execution. And then I just need to be at the right place at the right time. And more than anything, it's going to be about executing the green flag pit stops.
Yeah, we've definitely said that on the broadcast before, where that is just so crucial. And obviously, you guys put yourselves in position tonight to be there at the end and have a very, very solid finish. And obviously, you've put your car in the right spot to be in contention for a lot of these race wins. You've got 4 of them on the season heading into the playoffs. So definitely good luck to you, obviously. And we'll roll that red carpet out now for any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give for, again, that 4th win on the season.
Thank you, Boomer. Appreciate you guys, you and Brandon, for putting on just a top-notch broadcast. I've loved watching everything, all the races at Green White Checker TV through the years, and I heard Maxwell say it was his first league that he ever ran in. I actually think this is either my first or my second, because I started running in Dale Cup many, many years ago, and I joined Area 51 like right at that same time, and it's kind of been, it's felt like home to me. Area 51 has, because like I'll leave for several seasons and just do some other stuff, and then when I come back, it's just nice to be able to run against everyone and say hi. And I honestly don't know if I'll be back next season. I might take a couple more seasons off and then come back again. It kind of depends on what, with life and everything. But I gotta give a big shout out to TW Motorsports, Charles Johnson, for asking me to jump on board with them guys, and Dean, Bob, Tom. They're a lot of fun to run with, and it's a very relaxed group, and I feel like that I can kind of be myself out there. So I just really enjoy running with them guys. And last but not least, I want to thank, I got to thank Area 51. I forgot that. And then last but not least, my beautiful fiance for supporting me, because she is sitting behind me watching TV right now, waiting for me to get done with this. And we're going to pick a nice little movie to watch before we lay down.
Good deal. Well, we won't keep her waiting any longer, and obviously congratulations to you both. And like you mentioned, with what life's gonna throw you next, good luck with everything in the wedding, and very exciting times. And we'll look forward to hopefully talking to you again soon. And good luck for the rest of the season here.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you, and God bless.
Alrighty, so that'll do it. Cody Nagels, you see, and the replay burning it down after that race win for him tonight. So 4 races on the season for Cody. Definitely going to be one of the strongest front runners. Obviously, Gabe Butler, he did have the speed penalty early, and then got caught up in the incident, which blew the motor and had to come out late on the pit cycle due to that. So definitely not the night that he wanted to have going into the playoffs, but still going to be a front runner. So we'll run down that list. We do actually have the points as they sit. So Cody Nagels is going to finish with 307 points and the regular season championship. Gabe Butler is 7 points behind in the second position. Dude Conrad is going to have 269 points there in third. Maxwell Caldwell's 245 in fourth. Jack Walls is 231, but obviously he gives up his spot. So Eric Laurie will be the next one in at 231 points, and Everett Lane there in 7th place. Dean Wilkinson in 8th, Justin Davis in 9th, Doug Webb in 10th. Then we have Joshua Highbaugh and Anthony Lane making it in, as well as Gary Huffines. So again, that's Cody, Gabe, Dude, Maxwell, Eric, Everett, Dean, Justin, Doug, Joshua, Anthony, and Gary all making their way into the playoffs. And over the next 4 races, those drivers are going to compete for that championship here in the 2025-2 season. So with that, we'll remind you what the schedule looks like here for the next couple weeks. We do have an off week, so the 21st of September we will be on vacation here in the league, but we will be back on September 28th. We'll go to Atlanta Motor Speedway, now known as Echo Park Speedway, again September 28th. Then a week later in Daytona on October 5th. We'll take a week off, and then we'll go back-to-back at Talladega October 19th and 26th to crown our champion here in the Xfinity Series. We do also have plenty of action left to go on Friday nights. They just wrapped up their regular season this past week, and we are going to be going to Atlanta on September 26th. Daytona will be October 3rd, the week off, then Talladega October 17th and 24th on Friday nights. And there is still plenty to race for in the Tuesday IndyCar Series. We'll go through the schedule there. They've got a couple races left, so they'll be at Motegi in 2 days on September 16th. They've got Charlotte a week after that. An off week, then they'll go to Michigan. A couple off weeks, and they'll go to New Hampshire on October 21st. Then they wrap the season up in Vegas and Indianapolis on the 4th and 18th of November. So plenty of racing still left here in 2025 for Area 51 and for Green White Checker TV. And that's definitely we saw some yellows, but a pretty clean, pretty green weekend overall here between both Friday and Sunday night there, Brandon.
Yeah, some really good regular season finales, and got these drivers right to where they need to be, and some eye-opening, I think, for a lot of these teams going into the playoffs. Some guys are getting hot at the right time and getting that momentum rolling, and that can be really crucial in 4 races, especially when you got a few of them here at Talladega.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely going to be a good season finale, I would think, or good finish to our season over the next 4 races, and very much looking forward to bringing you that action here on Green White Checker TV. So we appreciate you being with us here, Brandon. Obviously appreciate Gael Brooks, our boss, and everything he's done to help us get to here and have some fun getting to call the shots and the action here at Area 51. But for that, so we'll sign off. For myself, Boomer Logan, for my good friend Brandon Briggs, we'll say good night. Hopefully you have a great week and a safe one, and we'll catch you next time.